All right, well, I want to welcome you to the Coral Springs Police Department. My name is Bradley McKean. I'm the Chief of Police here. And we called you guys today for this press conference just to highlight the outstanding job that was done by multiple agencies here in South Florida. Specifically, we have the Broward Sheriff's Office that's represented by Sergeant Hendrick, Detective House, and then we also have, not with us today, but the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, the South Florida Task Force. We have our BEAR unit, which is represented by Sergeant Jomont and Detective Popick. They'll talk to you guys in a few minutes about this case and highlight some of the actions that were taken. Also assisting in this was HSI and CBP. So I will start by saying that this case, although when you look at it, it's classified as a property crime, as a burglary, it's much more than that. This is actually something that I know I take very much offense to and kind of take personal here, as this happened to residents of Coral Springs, good, hardworking individuals who went about their day, who trying to make a better life for them and their families. And you have these other individuals who prey on other people, in this case, the Asian community. And this is a trend that we've seen in South Florida that's been occurring more and more with Asian business owners, restaurant, nail salon owners specifically, where when they're at work, they're trying to go about their day to make a living. These individuals will break into their house or commit crimes against them. So, again, I find that as very offensive because, again, they're targeting individuals, again, hardworking people, and this isn't just a property crime. This is something that is a very serious crime that's costing people their livelihoods and their businesses. So, to the men and women that were part of this case, not only did you just stop criminals from committing acts, you changed people's lives, because they would struggle had they lost thousands of dollars, as others have in the past. So outstanding work there being done. With that being said, I'll turn it over to Detective Popick or Sergeant Jomont if you guys want to start with the case and as far as how we got involved with this, the assistance that was provided by the Sheriff's Office, Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, the federal agencies. Again, just an outstanding job that was done overall.
Excuse me. So on Tuesday morning, March 5th, the Coral Springs PD BEAR unit, which I work with Detective Popick and 5 other detectives, we'd been noticing a pattern in Coral Springs and throughout South Florida in general where victims of Asian descent are being targeted specifically, residential burglaries, their businesses themselves. So we organized an intelligence meeting with the departments that we work with locally, BSO BAT, PBSO South Florida Task Force. We just wanted to get all these resources together and share as much information as possible so that we're all on the same page and we can all work forward together with the investigation. So in this meeting, we discussed certain things. We talked about certain patterns that we've all seen in different areas of South Florida, and Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, the task force members, they provided 2 suspect vehicle tags, potential suspect vehicle tags. They weren't tied to any specific burglaries up in their jurisdiction, but they said, hey, these are 2 vehicles of interest that we think we need to look out for. So we took those 2 vehicles and we ran them through our databases, and we noticed a pattern that those vehicles were also present during some Coral Springs burglaries, and also the BAT detectives, they realized that those vehicles were in the area during some burglaries in their jurisdictions. So we took that, and literally as we were leaving this intelligence meeting, another residential burglary occurred up in PBSO's district. So, and they ran through the databases, and believe it or not, these 2 tags were once again present in the area during these crimes. So these tags were what we call hot listed. They were flagged in our databases, and we began actively looking for them. So BSO BAT and BEAR, we went central Broward because we received intelligence that the vehicles were traveling throughout the county. And it took several hours, I believe 5-6 hours. And sure enough, the detectives found it. A BSO BAT detective found it in Cooper City. So we set up on that. The BEAR detectives responded down there, South Florida Task Force from PBSO and BAT. Everybody collectively came together, and we began monitoring its activities as it traveled through Broward. It entered the town of Davie and looked like it was targeting a residence in Davie. So we also called the town of Davie Police Department. They came out, they responded as well, they provided support. All indicators were that they were about to conduct a burglary in Davie. But I believe that they saw that the house was occupied at that time, so they suspended their efforts. We followed it for a few more hours up into the city of Lauderhill, and after that, it appeared like they went home, so no more suspicious activity. Next morning, we continued surveillance, and that's when they entered the city of Coral Springs. Multiple vehicles came into play. We could see subjects layering up their clothing. They were using electronic scooters that they were moving between the vehicles, which is a common tactic. They get out on these scooters and they conduct counter surveillance as they're conducting these burglaries. So we continued surveillance. It traveled through Coral Springs. It went to western Coral Springs, near the Sawgrass Expressway, south of Sample Road. And sure enough, everybody deployed out of the 2 suspect vehicles. Scooter was out, people on foot. There were 4 people that were conducting counter surveillance. So they're actually looking out for the police at this point. You know, they're not just going into this crime, blindly committing this crime. They're actually taking measures to remain undetected as best they could. But unfortunately for them, we were better. BSO BAT, Task Force, and BEAR, this is what we do every day. So we set up covert surveillance around the area. We had detectives, I won't get into the details, but we were in locations they had no idea we were at, and we were very, very close to them. So we on-viewed this burglary. When the suspects came out, they were inside for over an hour, or about an hour, if I'm not mistaken. Close to an hour, they were inside this house. When they came out, they separated into the 2 vehicles, loaded the proceeds of the burglary into 1 vehicle. The 2 vehicles went in separate directions. So now we have a team of detectives following 1 vehicle and a team of detectives following the other vehicle. The first burglary suspect vehicle went to a location in Margate, and it split from there into 3 separate vehicles. So the 3 occupants of that car then split into 3 other. A simultaneous takedown was enacted on all 3 of those vehicles by the task force officers, BSO BAT and South Florida Task Force. All 3 of those suspects were taken into custody. My team, the BEAR unit, and BSO BAT, we followed the other vehicle that had the proceeds from the burglary down to Fort Lauderdale. At that time, BSO Aviation also came overhead as well. Once it was in Fort Lauderdale, it dropped off one of the suspects. He was quickly apprehended. And then BSO BAT immobilized the second suspect vehicle. 1 person tried to run initially. Eventually, all 4 people were taken into custody. So 7 people are in custody. And we recovered all of the proceeds from the burglary was still inside that second suspect vehicle. So 7 arrestees, everybody that was actively participating in this burglary was apprehended. And all the property recovered. So.
Anybody else? Sorry. So I'll take questions in a minute if you guys have any, but real quick, I just wanted to again highlight that, look, we have a saying here in Coral Springs is not in Coral Springs. And what we mean by that is, you know, people make the mistake of coming here and committing a crime. They've done that in other locations several times. They do it once here, and we find out who they are, and we catch them. And again, that's the work that these men and women do. So, you know, my warning to anybody who wants to come to Coral Springs and do a crime is, you know, don't come here and do that, because we may not catch you at that day, but we're going to find you eventually. We are going to arrest you, and you are going to go to jail. And I think that now that's kind of catching on a little bit more throughout Broward County, maybe the Tri-County area, because of these partnerships that are being formed. You know, these men and women, they're relentless. They work all hours of the day, 7 days a week. They're out there early in the morning, late at night, as you heard. And again, they're going to find you, and they're going to catch you. So my advice to you is, if you're stupid enough to come to Coral Springs or somewhere in Broward County and commit a crime, you're going to be seeing us at some point, you know, sooner or later. So again, that not in Coral Springs hashtag, I think, is expanding, like I said, not in Broward County. And again, I got to commend the men and women of all these agencies, because the job they did was absolutely outstanding. So thank you guys, and we'll take any questions you guys may have.